Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fanfiction it inspires. I'm Kasey.
I'm Sandra, and we're excited to do something a little different on the podcast. Kasey and I have dissected and deboned supernatural over countless hours, but we haven't had someone on the podcast to talk to who's a first-time watcher of the show until now. Recording with us today is Joey, who has recently finished watching the first season of Supernatural. He may or may not have been politely bullied into coming onto the podcast. Needless to say, we can't wait to hear his reactions and thoughts, maybe answer some of his questions, and offer up sage advice from some seasoned SPN veterans. Not us, but our friends and listeners. As a special treat, my husband Ted is also here for the discussion, offering some not quite as show-obsessed views. So, a big welcome to you both, and thanks for joining us today.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us both.
So,
oh, Ted, you just got
go
dumped in at the end there.
I
just like, oh yeah, and Ted's here too.
By the way, Ted's here too. Well,
It's just Ted.
It's just Ted. So we should probably discuss the relation between Ted and Joey. And I don't know who wants to go first about that.
Well, I would love for my own.
Joey is
Oh, sorry, Ted.
Joey is my nephew, and he is just the best nephew out there. Can't get
Oh,
mad.
shucks.
Aw,
Yep,
that's
and that's
sweet.
coming from the best uncle out there. So that.
Oh, guys, you're fucking cute. That's adorable. We're gonna have a
Yes.
monthly segment called Ted and Joey are fucking cute. That's what it's gonna be.
Oh, love that.
Oh, goodness. Joey, what would you like to just start off with in terms of letting our listeners know a little bit about you before we get into all the other stuff with fandom and all those great things that are supernatural related?
I do think it's important to say I do come from a fandom. I come from more of like a Doctor Who sci-fi type side of the fandoms, but I have watched Sherlock, so now I'm kind of adding that third bit in there for SuperWhoLock, so that I know all of the fandoms and I'm familiar with all of them now. So.
Okay, good.
And
Yeah.
before anybody gets really hyped that like, oh my god, a Sherlock and a Doctor Who fan and a Brit on the same podcast, I haven't watched them. I quit Doctor Who and I've never watched Sherlock because when Sherlock came out, I was like, Benedict Cumberbatch, why is everyone so fucking obsessed with him? And then I watched The Hobbit and I was like, oh, I get it now. But I haven't gone back and watched it. So nobody get hyped that there's going to be like, I don't know anything about them. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I only subscribe to the super part of SuperWhoLock.
I don't either. I mean, I know of Doctor Who just because I remember watching episodes maybe like on PBS when I was younger. And I remember watching some black and white episodes and not knowing what the heck was going on back then.
Yeah.
And then watching maybe just a couple of handful of like more recent episodes. I think maybe with Christopher Eccleston. I think I remember watching a few of those, but I don't know anything about the Sherlock part of the fandom at all. Just that it's a part of SuperWhoLock, and it was at some point. Ted's looking at me like, "Did you know that was a thing, SuperWhoLock?"
Nope.
Okay, all right.
New to me.
Joey, do you want to? Since you know more about it,
Yeah.
do you know what made it this sort of like trinity of?
So I kind of have a pretty decent idea, actually. So with the Christopher Eccleston was the first Doctor, kind of like with the revamped series.
Okay.
And I think with that coming over here to America, it kind of like gave, well, in a heavier way. It's not like it wasn't here before, but like in a much heavier way to like a new audience. I think it brought this wave of like, we can be fans, like this level of fans. And I think from what I've seen of season 1 of Supernatural, it seems like they had this very similar, I'm going to say recipe for like their episode structure and overarching story situation in the background.
Okay.
And I think Sherlock kind of had that too. I'm actually not, Sherlock's the one that I'm not sure how it made it in other than fans getting really obsessed, you know?
Okay.
Because they've got the whole like two lead male characters and maybe they fuck, maybe they don't kind of thing going on. So it's like
you're not quite sure.
Doctor Who and Supernatural brought like the kind of like monsters, not quite sci-fi for Supernatural, but like that kind of like monster vibe. And then Supernatural and Sherlock brought the maybe they're fucking though. And I don't know where Sherlock and Doctor Who overlap unless they're both British though.
Okay.
Well, Doctor Who does have its fair share of like, are they gonna fuck? What's happening here? But not as much as Supernatural and Sherlock for sure.
Yeah.
I also think they fit different categories. Like they overlap a little bit. Like Supernatural so far for me has a lot of cryptids and folklore, and like those are sometimes referenced in Doctor Who, but they deal with a lot more like history and like altered history, you know. And then Sherlock is the one that's a part of the trinity of these fandoms that's more anchored in reality. And so with all three of them kind of like together, people just love all three, I think.
Joey, what prompted you to start watching Supernatural? It wasn't us.
Well, so no,
Yeah,
it was
Joey.
it was actually built up over a long time. So I mean, I started watching Doctor Who a long time ago, and like during the David Tennant era when that was like still coming out. And around that time is when my sister and my friends who also watched Doctor Who were like, oh, you got to check out Supernatural. And at the time, Doctor Who was quite a thick amount of material, because when I watched something like that, I started watching and then I was like, oh, I dug a little bit. And I was like, oh, this show's how old? It has how many episodes? Oh, man. So at the time, I was very much into trying to chunk out pieces of the legacy that is Doctor Who, and it's so long, right? But over time, you know, my sister kept referencing it, friends kept referencing it every time I brought up Doctor Who. So then when I got a visit from some family recently, and that was enough to and that was enough to kind of just like, you know, I had a slot to fill in my TV watching stuff, and the universe just kind of aligned, and so I started watching it again.
I'm sure it had nothing to do with those family members walking your house and going, give me your Netflix password. We're doing a thing. Clear evening. We're doing a thing.
It was actually at our hotel room because our TV was you were able to connect Netflix to the TV. And we were just like, I don't know, I think we were doing a whole bunch of like YouTube stuff and other things. I was like, well, you know, let's just watch. We just watch the first episode and see if
just the tip.
If Joey likes it. And I think it took us. Did it take us 3 hours to get through the one app? Because we just kept stopping?
We did keep pausing it to discuss a lot of things, honestly, like show related, semi-show related. It was hilarious. It was awesome.
It was a fun time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a mixture of like watching season 1 in my normal watching place, which is while I am at work. I watch a lot of stuff at work. But then what I do is I went back and I had made little stars next to episodes I wanted to go back and watch, including a couple. And then I went back and I watched them when I had like time to watch. Because I'm familiar with fandoms. I know that I'm going to say filler episodes, and there's like a varying scale on a filler. Sometimes they're actually pretty important. But I've got kind of a view for them. So I started out some important episodes, and then when I went back and watched them, I was like, I think I dug out the main story, and I watched those episodes again.
Oh, so that is awesome. You did your work, man.
I did my best.
So prepared.
Yes.
I'm very bad with names and dates. Dates I'm bad with kind of in general. But other than that,
that must be a family trait.
I think so. Yeah.
This is maybe not the right time to ask this question before I've actually got into your thoughts about season 1, Joey. But have you found a blobbo yet? Has one jumped out at you? A favorite character? Of the two. Just because I have a table. I have a table, and I need to put you. And I'm not trying to pressure you or influence you in any way. But Team Sam is weighed against us. Is all I'm saying, and he's a heavy moose.
Listen. I'm really glad.
Nothing goes right when someone says that to me. Wait. Listen, right? Yeah, all right. I'm just putting an X in Dean. Carry on.
No, it might not be.
So I'm really glad. It is, but I'm gonna go out there and say I knew this was gonna be a conversation right off the bat, and so I'm definitely more of a Dean guy if I had to pick. Sorry to the Sam people out there.
Why?
I think not only do I kind of feel like I relate to him more than Sam, but also he makes me laugh more than like Sam does. Sam kind of always a lot of the time when I'm looking at Sam. I know. When I'm looking at Sam, most of the time I'm like, oh, Sam.
It is. It's all poor baby, right?
And it's not like a bad thing.
No.
But I think I vibe more with Dean. I think I probably have laughed most of the time. If I have laughed at a thing that was supposed to be funny, it's usually Dean.
And there's silence.
You're going to come back to me in a few seasons. I'm going to shut my fucking mouth on anything, but you're going to come back to me in a few seasons and be like, so you know that stuff I said about season 1? I've changed my mind. But for now, I will. That's fine. You be put in the Dean camp. That's totally fine. It's heavily weighed in your favor, which I don't think is fair because y'all can fit him in the palm of your hand.
I don't know. Yeah, we will. Oh yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there when I get into farther seasons. You know?
It can definitely be a favorite character of mine in that episode over Dean. But yeah, Dean tends to.
I forgot that you were also a Dean person, Ted.
I'm sorry, but not sorry.
Well, it's interesting though, right? Because it flipped. Because initially, Ted's first watching. Well, it wasn't. It was Cass, you know, and we're that's a future character, so we're not going to go too far into that now. But that became Ted's character. Don't discuss. We can't. Nope.
I'm saying that mysterious other character we're talking about, Dean still was my favorite.
Okay. I didn't get that vibe when we talked about it, but okay. So you kept that in, and I didn't have any influence on that.
Well, because I didn't want to be encroaching on your Dean.
Oh, okay. All right. He's my Dean now. All right. Okay. So anyway.
The Dean.
The Dean. Yeah. I actually think he is called that in one episode. Your Dean? The Dean? Yes. Okay. All right. All right.
Best night of my life, Dean. Yeah. You don't know Dean? The Dean? Yeah.
As we kind of talk about the fact, like where you learned about it, you know, you were kind of like given a little bit of insight into it being part of like, you know, sort of Doctor Who and how Supernatural overlapped, different things like that. But you're also coming from it almost 20 years later from when it originally premiered, and a fan of another show, The Boys, that was created by Supernatural's creator, executive producer Eric Kripke. So I'm just wondering, are you noticing, since you've watched all of The Boys, correct? And you're getting ready for it to start up I think it's June 3rd or 4th or something like that. I
believe it's June 4th, yeah. And yes, and I've even watched the sideshow Gen V.
Okay.
That one was also really good.
That was really good. Yes, I did like that.
Sad news with that, but I don't know if you heard, not to like derail, but the guy who plays the son of the guy was with the Magneto powers, cannot remember his name, told you that was going to happen. He actually just recently died in he just died in a motorcycle accident.
Passed away.
I just heard yesterday. Yep, passed away. Yep.
That is so sad.
I haven't heard, obviously everybody blasted it out and said stuff about it, but I haven't heard what they're going to do about it or if they filmed. I don't know any of the details fully yet, but yeah. So rest in peace. That's really sad, actually.
Yeah,
but
very sad.
do I see
any similar themes or anything happening aside from the fact that we know that Jensen Ackles is Soldier Boy? I was just wondering, like, have you noticed anything in terms of, you know, the show itself? Because I know it's not Eric Kripke's baby, right? Like, he's adapted it from a comic, but I was just wondering too, like, if you just noticed anything about that.
I think he was a good choice for the adaptation because he writes a really good rebel. Do you know what I mean? Like The Boys is basically a team of like rebels and rebellious type characters that all have different angles of being like we got to fight the system. And then even on the system they're fighting with Homelander and all those other guys, there's still like a rebel element. Like all these characters are rogue, regardless of what side they're on. And I think Kripke writes a good rebel. I don't know how else to describe that. And I think I see a lot of that comes with a lot of like fight the power. I feel like Dean, and I only have season 1 as like a reference,
right? And
I've really stayed clean. I don't go online and look, but The Boys from, you know, Dean and Sam, they it's almost like that's a little reference. You know what I mean? But I see a lot of like also in the way that it's filmed. It's way different because of the time period, CGI, different show, but the way the shots are filmed, the way that dialogue happens, you can kind of feel that.
A little bit more graphic, just a tad bit more graphic.
Well, a little more free, right? A little more free.
Yeah.
Like Can you imagine a world where Supernatural was an HBO production or something?
We have discussed that, yes, in great detail.
There you go, I'm sure.
Because I think that Kripke's even said, he's been able to do things on The Boys that he would have loved to have been able to do with Supernatural, but he was hamstrung.
That encouraged them to.
They got to be creative.
They had to, had to gank people instead of murder people and kill people.
A lot of things had to get polished or like rinsed out a little bit, and sanitized for which is kind of funny because it's still, I think in some regards it could be a little bit creepier the less you show, and I think that just shows that when people
did we watch the same opening episode of The Boys though?
Well, no, that one was crazy. Yeah, no, but I don't think you could have made that any, or even the first episode of season 3. Yeah, I don't think. No. Yeah. Fun fact, because I was reading the article that I had dropped into the discussion. So Eric Kripke said that first scene is pretty much, I think, shot for shot matches up with the comic book. Joey, have you read them?
That is correct. Okay. Yes, I did. Okay. I read them after I watched the show, unfortunately on that one. But yeah, they did this like kind of multiverse switch thing. They changed some characters like Huey. It's funny. So I cannot remember his name. The guy who plays Shaun of the Dead. Simon Pegg. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So he plays Huey's dad. Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting character because in the comics, Huey is like a mid-30s, like late 30s, like do nothing man, just like his dad. Okay. Is in the show. So it's almost like they made the Huey from the comics his dad, but they knew that making a younger character for Huey was going to be smarter for a TV show, stuff like that.
So who is your favorite character on The Boys?
Do you have one?
That's tough. Oof.
There is a right answer. I didn't know there was a right answer, Kasey, but
there is a right answer. That's
Casey's
dangerous.
Answer.
It's my answer, but I rule everything, so it's the right answer.
Okay.
I have a purely like unhinged, like true to my heart answer, and then I have like a more like, I guess, detailed answer. I'm going to say Homelander is probably my overall unhinged favorite for so many reasons. Just the Anthony Starr kills it. I'm going to start with that.
Yes.
How do you? It's like if Patrick Bateman got Superman powers and they like fused that. That's crazy, man. And he does it very, very well.
Yeah.
If I had to pick like overall favorite character for like every reason, not just in the show, probably Huey. Character development's a big deal for me.
Okay. Yeah. And what did you say, Ted?
Butcher.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny because like as soon as we started watching The Boys, Butcher just immediately reminded me of the Dean, like the Dean character, right? Like the one that you're supposed to Dean. Like, the one that's got the lines,
the lovable rogue.
Like that. Yeah, the lovable rogue. So it's just like, having that. And, so it was kind of like you could see those, knowing how to characterize. I think Eric Kripke really gets that well, with the creation part of it, the production part of it. And also you were talking about how it kind of looks similar in a way. And I know there's a lot of directors and producers, I think, that have worked with Kripke before on other shows, including Supernatural. And like Phil Segricha is one of the directors who I love on Supernatural. I think he's directed a couple episodes in season 1, but he, went on board the Boys camp and he's done some episodes from them too. So it's nice to see how it sort of continues. And if once you pick it apart, so I'm interested because you're going backwards now. So you've seen The Boys. So I'm wondering if you're going to like pick up on, certain things as you go through Supernatural. So it'll be an interesting discussion.
I'm going to interject. I'm going to interject here though and say I'm disappointed in all of you.
Oh, why?
Uh-oh.
The right answer is Frenchie. Come on now, guys.
He's really
God,
good
Frenchie.
He is really good too. I guess we should dig in a little bit then to season 1 of Supernatural. Yeah. And any overall thoughts you had? You said you had some episodes in particular. So just we're just here to listen now. We're just here to listen about your thoughts.
Awesome.
On it.
Yeah, no. So I guess I'll start with, it's always a safe place to start with. I think my favorite is a tie between probably the Bloody Mary episode, which is pretty early on, and that's one of the reasons I like it. And then Shadow, I think, is the one with, I think they were they were called divas.
Oh,
Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Davas. Yep. I like, so that's a creature that actually, so before I talk about with the Bloody Mary episode, because there's like reasons I like that one. The reason it's kind of a tie is because the Shadow episode, those divas really reminded me of one of my favorite creatures from Doctor Who, actually, but it was done totally different. And I really like that. They have these creatures in Doctor Who called the Vashta Narada, another difficult name to remember. And they're like a cloud of like darkness, and they're like a shadow creature. And in that episode, they have the shadow creature kind of inside of a spacesuit, naturally keeping the shadow alive, but the person wouldn't quite know that they're not a person, right? Because they're inside a spacesuit. So there were a lot of like really, it took me, that's a very pivotal episode. It's one of my favorite episodes of the whole series of Doctor Who. And that the Shadows episode, on top of being, I think, I could be wrong, correct me. Isn't that also either right after or right during when Dad comes back, when John comes back?
Yeah.
So that's when they finally get like reunited with him. Is in the Shadow episode. Yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought I remembered that correctly. So it was a pivotal story arc episode, not what I would label as like a filler episode. So that's all kind of the reasons why that's tied for Bloody Mary. But then Bloody Mary is just something that's like pretty close to my heart. And I think I liked the way that they did it, because they even mention in that episode, oh, there's so many, how do we even find this? Like, how do we find the source of this if there's so many different tellings of the Bloody Mary story? They even reference it in the episode. I think it was really smart. I like the way they did that.
Okay.
So those are my two faves if I had to pick.
Have you considered the Benders and how fucking kick-ass that one is?
Oh, yeah, that one is pretty kick-ass. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, good. I'm sorry. I have a really big attachment to that episode. It's
no,
like,
tell me why. Give me more.
It's because it's that whole humans are the real monsters thing, but it's so it's like, I like the fact that it's like episode 15, so they've set up like these 15 episodes of these guys going, oh, and they hunt this and they hunt that, and there's supernatural and monsters and spirits and ghosts, and then they come and they go, boom, humans, and you see Dean just like fully just not even know how to deal with it and just be like, what the fuck, what is this? What do you mean people are out here hunting people for sport? And I think it grounds the show and that season, especially in the, just like in the reality that, there's all this shit like that goes bump in the night that you don't necessarily know about, but actually still people are fucked. And
it definitely does. Oh my gosh. And honestly, so when I watched that episode, now remember, again, first watch, and at this point, 20 years later, it is a little dated, so I was going to be watching it several times, right? Benders was actually not one of the ones that I had starred, like I said. So I did not go back and full watch that one. But now that you've said that, with what I do remember from watching that episode, that's actually, I understand why it's up there for really good in that first season, because it's important to bring it back down to earth like that. And I think I've always liked horror movies, and I like all of my favorite ones are more like Ghostface, right? Because he's more of like a human. He's not in a single chase scene, he or she, depending on the movie, is never in a chase scene where they don't fall over because they're a person.
Yeah.
It's a human. It's not Hellraiser, some like demon from like ooh.
Whoa! I'm less of the Hellraiser bashing on here, right? Freddie and Jason are free reign on Freddie and Jason, but
not Pinhead.
Not Pinhead. He is, baby.
No.
I love him so much.
I love him. No, trust me. I have actually got a puzzle box somewhere in my house, and I leave it unfinished. Don't worry.
Please don't.
I have the. I'm nerdy enough that I have the first 3 movies in the special edition puzzle box like DVD case that they made. It doesn't. It doesn't like
exactly the one.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. You can't like put it together, but when you pull the lid off, it like falls open to reveal all the DVDs inside. It's really cool.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
Massive Hellraiser nerd. Sorry.
Well, and speaking of horror movies, I want to also add that the whole first season gives me like this horror movie vibe, as best as the network that provided for them would allow, I think. I mean, it brings you back to the conversation of if HBO or some other, or AMC or someone was allowed to like put a little bit more closer to an adult rating to it. You know what I mean?
Don't put it on AMC. They don't allow dicks. They're all about shitty. They're all about shitty zombie TV shows. HBO, please.
Man,
dicks are allowed on HBO. I've seen Game of Thrones.
I think you want to go with Amazon for that if you really want.
Have you seen Game of Thrones?
I have seen Game of Thrones, but Amazon's pretty liberal too with that.
Amazon's pretty free, which so far.
Yeah. pretty free.
Okay, all I'm saying is, can we not send Supernatural to die a death on IMC, please?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, fair. Hey,
Agree.
I'm down for that because it probably
Thank
would,
you.
thanks to Walking Dead.
Yeah, like Walking Dead should have
Not to-
finished around.
Have you watched Walking Dead also, Joey? Because I haven't.
So I have
Tell
watched,
us when you
quit.
quit.
I watched season 1 when it came out because I read the comics.
Mm.
You know?
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
season 1, I think, is honestly, and this is as someone who read the comics before, and there's few and far between of us these days. They should have just stopped at season 1. It should have just been there. Like, maybe tell a different story later, like a different chunk somewhere. But there was so much wasted real estate on episodes. And I think while the acting was great, I think I fell off before they even got to the prison because they already changed so much stuff I didn't like. So, yeah. But I'm also a diehard when it comes to, like, if you're going to adapt something, like, do it right. Like, talk to your people who are wanting to watch it, you know? And don't change stuff unless you have to. And if you do it in a good way. Like, it should be challenging to make an adaptation of something. It shouldn't be easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Follow-up question to that then. Where do you, as a comic book before the show, where do you stand on the character of Darryl Dixon? Because I know comic book people are not about him because he is an invention.
He is the Count Dooku, if another deep cut, he's the Count Dooku of this universe. Like, he was created as a story element to change something last minute. And not a fan. I don't like doing that at all. I think if you have to do it, there's like ways. I don't know, and it's different and so subjective based on the original source content. So yeah, I don't know. And if you don't know the Count Dooku reference, Jar Jar Binks was supposed to be the actual end bad guy at the end of episode 3, which was supposed to make the whole story arc better in some way. And I think it would have been because he was supposed to be like, look, I'm goofy. Oh, surprise, I'm a bad guy. But instead, they created this character called Dooku, and they threw him in a bunch of comics last minute, and they made a bunch of action figures.
Whoa. I will go with you on Dooku, but be careful. Don't disrespect Christopher like that. He's a fucking legend.
Okay. He is a legend. Okay, so
are we talking about Christopher Lee?
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't have if he gets a role, that's a role.
I thought you were about to say stop talking bad about Jar Jar.
Yeah, I know. I was very.
I'm a millennial. I really like Jar Jar.
I do too.
Really like him.
Jar Jar.
Okay,
I wanted him to be a bad guy.
In an
at the
argument
end.
this past week at work with somebody who that topic came up, and I said, I was talking about how Jar Jar was the worst character ever, and he said, no, Jar Jar was exactly what he needed to be, and he went on to back up the reason why he's a really good character. They portrayed him exactly as his species is. They didn't change him at all. And I'm like, well, that doesn't matter. I still didn't like the character. I didn't like that.
It could be.
I don't like that species.
Yeah, it could be as true to the species as we like, but like the Star Wars fans are very divided by where you came into Star Wars. And original trilogy people are like, no, it's fucking stupid. And then stupid millennials like me are like, it's great though. And then I don't know what the kids are doing because I've watched like 2 and 3.5 Star Wars movies. So I don't have a horse in this race, but you got to be careful. You can slate Dooku, but you don't slate the master.
Fair enough. Absolutely.
Can I just say, how rude.
How rude.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. But
yeah, so if we go back.
Okay. Sandra's bringing us back.
I'm trying.
Reeling us back.
So aside from those 2 episodes, I think before we got on to actually record, you mentioned bugs. Were there any episodes that kind of like, I guess, fillers that you were like, maybe I wouldn't watch again, or you thought like maybe they could have done better? Because bugs is pretty much everybody's go-to as one of the worst episodes, and I think it's even an episode that I think even like the director, like everybody's like, we don't know what we were doing with that one. So
man, so that fills me in on some stuff I didn't know actually. So I don't generally know like the consensus in the Supernatural community. So I didn't know that this was kind of not a favorite episode, but I will say that Bugs was definitely one that stood out to me as like, I definitely could have skipped it.
Yeah, you absolutely could have skipped it. But
so on my first watch through, I tried to watch the end, make sure there wasn't like a hook at the end, like, oh yeah, they did this so that you might skip it, but there's this like thing at the end you might miss. And I don't think there was any.
Nope.
I don't think there was a hook. No. So I didn't miss it. It just wasn't there.
I mean, they did that parallel thing, which I know they try to do, where they're paralleling whatever's happening within the case or whatever with the boys and stuff like that. I will say the only thing that, because I'm not as big of, and they kind of call them Monster of the Week episodes. So like, it depends on, I think, on the monster, that they're dealing with. And this one, I think they just didn't hit it quite right. But there are those scenes like you were talking about that you kind of have to pay attention, because if it's not the best episode, they still might weave in some, something that's going along with the overall arc of the season that you might miss. Or it could be like a Sam and Dean revelation or a moment, like they're talking or something. And it's like, oh, like if on a rewatch, you might. So what I've tended to do sometimes is like, I will just, certain episodes we used to skip, but I'm like, no, I think we have to watch it because there may be a scene or something that, is important. And that does happen on occasion with some episodes that I kind of think are more on the, this was a stinky episode, but oh my gosh, there was this one scene at the very end that I forgot about completely. But Bugs doesn't seem to have that.
It doesn't, and I think that there's a way to use a filler episode, because there's reasons you have to have a filler episode that usually, like, I think in a perfect world nobody would really even have one. But if you have to have a filler episode, there's ways to do it, and I think shows do it differently. I think looking at the way a show handles a filler episode says a lot about the production of the show as a whole. Supernatural, I'm not going to say now, all of that being said, I'm not saying Bugs is like a bad, like, oh my God, Supernatural is bad because of Bugs. That's definitely not what I mean, because they handle several other of the filler episodes that I would label as that very well, where they do put a hook at the end, and that's what keeps you watching, and that's definitely what kept me watching first watch through. No Google, no nothing, and so I wanted to make sure I caught.
Wow.
And I'm going for it. I haven't looked on Reddit and I'm a big Reddit guy. I didn't look anything up. So I'm going to keep that going as long as I can. I might try to look up some season one. Like once I finish a season, I might look some stuff up at the end before we talk, but
I wouldn't, because you'll just.
No, I mean,
I would say tagged right.
Fresh.
Yeah, I would
stay
say
fresh the whole time.
If you want to ask a question, and again, like if we end up doing this, like, check in, you could ask us, and I think we would know whether or not it's something you need to know the answer to, or you know what I mean, like that kind of a thing.
Yeah,
but,
I'll stay fresh, and I'll just keep a running list of things during my watch, and I'll just talk to you about it. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Are there any characters?
Wait, no, I'm not done with Bugs. I'm not done with Bugs.
Oh, go with Bugs, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've got weirdly nostalgic for Bugs. I know what it is. Like, you remember when we first started doing the rankings and I was like, oh my God, this episode fucking sucks. It's fucking trash. I don't know. The last time I watched it, I don't know, it's cute. I don't know what it is.
No,
it's just cute.
Yeah, I think it's just they didn't handle overall. I just don't think they knew what to do with it. But I think there's certain scenes and moments, and actually like the shower and unless I'm getting my episodes mixed up, the shower and the whole we rent to people of every blah blah blah. Like, it's cute. Yeah. And also like no further spoilers, but just a small, like I'm pretty sure this is referring to Bugs, but it might not be. I'm pretty sure the story about getting stung comes from Bugs, and if it doesn't, I know what other episode it comes from. But I think that's mellowed me out to Bugs, because I'm like, oh, they had such a shitty time. I'm so sorry. There were a lot of things that went wrong behind
Sam and Dean don't get to wear beekeeper outfits. They're in regular clothes. What you have to do, Joey, is don't go looking on like Reddit or anywhere else for information, but you have to watch the gag reels. You have to watch
the gag reels. Okay. Yes. I can do that.
Yeah. Those are on, you can definitely get those on YouTube. I think you could probably watch, like, if you do season 1 gag reels, you'd probably be able to find that.
Yeah, no, they are all on YouTube, but for the sake of argument, I'll assume that Jensen's story is referring to Bugs, but
it is.
Is it? Is it?
Yes,
it's not.
It is.
It's not the other one.
Nope. It's this one. Yes, it's
cool.
Bugs.
Yeah. Okay. So they, like, all the cast and crew are in like beekeeper outfits, and Sam, like, Jared and Jensen have to go on set in like regular clothes, and the bee person is like, oh yeah, we're just going to make sure you're not allergic to the bees. So apparently the way they do this is to put like a mesh over your arm and then just like sting you a little bit with the bee.
Just a little bit.
Just a 3/4 sting. So the stinger doesn't come out. The bee's fine. And Jared and Jensen are like, yeah, no, we're not fine though. We've just been stung by bees. just to make sure they're not going to go into anaphylaxis. This is paraphrased from like con videos and stuff. And Jared's like, oh yeah, no, we'll do everything. They're like, jump through this window and, you know, spin the car around. And they're like, we're going to sting you with bees. And we're like, no.
Bees is where we draw the line.
Well, and then it ended up being crazy, right? Because they did all this stuff with actual bees and the bees didn't show up on film. So then they had to put in bees. So they did all of this and they could have just stuck in the bees with computer animation.
They both got stung. Goofy. They both got stung, obviously.
Obviously.
But the story Jensen tells has been like right before they call action, and you know, like he's covered in bit. He's like, find a happy place, and one crawls up his shirt and like stings him like on the ass. So they're about to be like action. And he's like, oh wait, just like pulls the stinger out, and he's like, okay, go. I'm nostalgic for bugs because of the background stories about that. I think it's cute, and I'm like, oh, let's one sign up to be that bee. I would like to be that bee, please. I'll take the death just to be that bee. Thanks, because I'm well adjusted. Yeah. Anyway, Sandra's watched the show so many times, and she doesn't like bugs. And I've watched the show not as many times as Sandra has, and I'm weirdly nostalgic for bugs.
Well, and I also don't. If I have to look through, like, I don't like bugs in general. Like, bugs are like, they creep me out. So if I've got
that is also a factor. Yeah.
If I've got to look through my fingers to watch an episode, you're already hindering my ability to watch the show. And
it's like crappy CGI bugs. No. They're not real bugs, apart from the spider.
The spider. But then they had that one part when they're in the forest. There's all this. I think those were real bugs. It was just a whole.
Oh yeah, they might have been.
Yeah, and it was just like a little too much. So yeah,
I'm thinking of the cold open with the girls in the shower and the like. I don't know what they are, spiders or cockroaches or whatever, start coming out of like the shower drain, and I'm like, oh my god, guys, have you seen a bug like ever in your fucking life? Yeah, that's not what they look like, fam.
No. And actually, like a con related thing is the actress that was in that shower scene with all the spiders was at one of our cons and was talking about the whole process and how some were fake, some weren't, and like, you know, like having to have that all happen. So it was interesting.
Oh god, no, some of them were real, but
yeah, some of them were real. Yeah, she had to be careful around them because they were like, well, you can't step on it. You can't step on the spider.
Ida would be all over her for that.
So there were some
spiders an actor too.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's upset. That's upset me. No, I thought they were all fake.
No, not all of them. All fake. No, not all of them. Yeah, but
surprise.
So, were there any characters that you've met that you particularly liked, hope that you see again in an upcoming season? Like maybe they just had a little one or two. It's okay if you don't. I was just curious.
Man, okay, I'm having that time again where I'm forgetting someone's name, but I can see their face.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna do another installment of like guess that character.
Okay, that sounds good.
Sandra's really good at that.
It'll probably be pretty easy, but it's gonna be embarrassing. I don't remember the guy's name, but that's fine. The dad's friend they have to go to.
Oh, at the end. Bobby.
God, yes, yep. Bobby.
Okay.
God, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you like him?
So Bobby stood out to me for sure. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, not enough that I have a thing with names. It's just gone. I don't know what it is.
No,
sometimes it stays.
That's okay.
But yeah, no, I have a feeling. He's gonna come back. I have a feeling.
We can neither confirm nor deny the continued existence of Bobby Singer.
That's fair.
But I will say, and have you noticed that actor on The Boys?
Bobby's on The Boys?
Mm-hmm.
Bobby's on The Boys.
Man, okay, let me in my brain.
Joey, we're gonna cut this out because this is really embarrassing for you, babe.
It's embarrassing for me. Oh no, it's killing me. Oh no.
Don't you go, oh no, Sandra, like it's not.
What if
Oh no, it's so bad. Now it's I don't know.
His name is also Robert Singer.
Yeah,
in The Boys.
His name is Bobby Singer. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my.
But it's kind of confusing. He's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
And his hair is done. Yeah.
Oh man, that is so embarrassing. That is totally him too.
Yeah. Sorry.
Fun fact.
No, that's fine. I deserve that. That's okay.
No.
No. I'm teasing.
The fun fact about that is that the character Bobby Singer is Eric Kripke actually named him after one of the co-executive producers who also directs a lot of Supernatural episodes, Robert Singer. So it's sort of like this little homage and this thing that kind of has continued on The Boys, where and the same actor who played Bobby Singer, Jim Beaver, is on The Boys playing Bobby Singer. So I'm glad that you like that character, because that's a very good character.
It gives me, well, and now with this information you've given me, it gives me a lot of like Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, like they buddy actor, director kind of vibes. I like when two people vibe like that.
Yeah. And he uses I think you'll notice Eric Kripke, if you've watched any of his other shows, he uses a lot of the same actors in different things. I've heard Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in season 4 of The Boys.
He is. And so is Rob Benedict.
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays John Winchester. So that'll be
oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be an interesting thing to see what happens there. But yeah, no.
I'm so stoked.
Yay, Bobby Singer. We actually, Ted and I, because I was like, okay, let's watch an episode from season 1, since we did a little bit of homework last night, and he picked the last episode of the season. So he picked Devil's Trap. So it was nice to remember that was the introduction to, Bobby on the show and stuff. And
it was also to try to give me okay, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
Try not to give anything else away past that.
Yeah. And I also like poor Ted. I mean, I will he's like, wait a minute, who's coming in? Is this a season? What happens in this season? And he'll I forget, because it's a lot of information, and it's not, the scope of, say, Doctor Who or different things like that. But there's a lot of, there's so many characters that you have not even heard of, experienced yet. And over the course of 15 seasons, it's kind of amazing to think there's still all of these different characters to get introduced to, I guess, over the course, which I'm excited. This is fun.
I'm also excited. I'm excited to see character growth. I love character growth. I love when characters change. So you can't not change in 15 seasons.
No,
you know what I mean? So.
No, you can't, especially with, Sam's 22 when he starts.
Yeah.
Dean is 26. So, you're talking about, there's just a lot of change and growth coming out of, your 20s. But then with all this other stuff going on too, yeah, there's definitely a lot going on with that. Yeah.
They're just babies in that
season. That's what I said to Dad.
Babies.
When we were watching, I was like, look at Sam, he's such a baby.
What are they in middle school?
Someone come get these babies. They're due a juice box and a nap. Somebody come claim your fucking children.
They're staying out too late. It's past their bedtime.
No. What did you
Dude, he's 26.
What did you think of the overall the family aspect of it, with the family like John, Sam, Dean?
Man, okay. I really like the brothers thing. They really found ways to continue to tell stories about them being brothers in their relationship without them telling the same story too much. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as Dad, the dynamic story-wise of Dad being gone and why is he gone? Whatever, we got to keep doing this and find him, and that dynamic. And then they find him, and that actually surprised me. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was going to be the thing at the end of the season was we found Dad. But so it was really cool that happened sooner, because then it left me towards the end of the season well, so I guess we're going after the demon together. That's what we're doing. It was really cool to have him kind of cut. So they use family, they use that a lot in the show, and I think they keep using it, at least in season 1. I'm sure they keep doing it, but in season 1, they were able to vary how they write family stories into it without it feeling repetitive. It always had a reason.
Yeah.
When Dad came back and then they had to split up again, right? So it was really interesting. It was very, very interesting. I liked that they wove family so much into it. Episode 1 with Mom, that was pretty intense right off the bat. We watched that one together, actually.
We did. Yeah. We forget because we had to pause and talk.
It did take so long to watch that episode, but I think that was what made it awesome. And then I did go back and watch the first one when I did my rewatches. First one was Starred, and family is a pretty big thing in the show, obviously. I like the way that they did it. I do like because it's very easy to be lazy with family, and you use the first couple episodes, including the pilot, to say this is the family, this is how they work, and then boom. That's, I think that's super lazy. So I'm glad that they kept telling more story and then leaving mystery. Dad's gone again. And then they get in the car accident, and that's where I'm at. So.
Yeah, because I was going to ask. I didn't know if you officially stopped at the end of season 1 or if you went ahead. So you're at the part with the car accident where they're all bloody. They've been hit by a tractor trailer.
What a plot twist. I was like, this man's already been shot and they're talking about how to deal with it. And then boom, that was, it was a good way to end the season. I was definitely surprised by that as well.
You'll love the bloopers from that episode.
Do we know the name of that third character, the one that was the car?
Oh, I don't think that's happened yet.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I did want to ask though, Joey, because you talked about, your sister, other people, watching the show. Is there anything you are already spoiled about the show?
Oh, good question. Let me think.
We will need to confirm nor deny anything.
So my brain naturally, I'm when it comes to watching stuff, or reading or like getting into a universe like this, I always try to do it the same way I'm doing it with you guys. I try to be completely fresh and just like absorb it, and then I'll go see what people have to say afterwards. If at all, right? If at all. I guess the only thing so my brain naturally filters some stuff. There's a man that's an angel. That's one thing I know. He becomes a character, and I can like see his face because he's in other stuff. That's not really a spoiler because I don't fully remember. My brain helped me with that.
Okay.
There was a character.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll tell you later.
Man, I'm really trying to think. I think my brain has successfully just filtered out anything that would have even been considered any kind of spoiler. I don't really know. I mean,
okay. No, I think
I knew that they
great.
found their dad eventually, but I think I knew that they found their dad eventually, but that's already happened at least once, maybe twice technically. And so that doesn't count either. So yeah, no, I'm spoiler free, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's great.
Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. You definitely
really
don't want to.
this.
You definitely don't want to go online and look into anything then, because
just don't look at anything.
Easily get spoiled.
Yeah, no, and hey, just to add some authenticity, my family can vouch for me. I don't even have like Facebook or anything. I'm not like I'm not the scrolling type, so I've got nothing that's going to try to ruin it for me either.
Okay.
So
Okay.
We'll stay fresh.
I would love to go back to not knowing and watch it again.
Yeah, I think that's something we've talked about a lot. It's just like not knowing what's going to happen and have that. So to get to kind of experience that with you is kind of another part of this being so fun.
Very excited.
Is being able to get a first time watcher. And I know, because I think I've told you, Joey, but like basically with Ted, it was like I had started watching. I think we watched like 2 episodes together. It was back in 2019.
But you already.
But we watched 2 episodes, but then I stopped watching it too. But then I started watching it without you, and it was maybe like 6 or 7 months later. And I was like, yeah, you're going to need to start to watch this because I've gotten us tickets to a convention in like April.
So we got to go now.
So you got to start now. And it was right before, it was in 2019. So the convention was in April of 2020. Well, COVID happened and we didn't, get to go. But in the middle of that, he was watching, he was catching up. And then by the time I think the show was getting ready to show the last like 7 or 8 episodes, he was caught up with me. So we were able to watch them together, like, real time and do it together that way towards the end. So it's definitely, I'm just so interested too, because it is so dated. Like I think it's very dated in terms of,
like when they hold up their phones.
Yeah, well, just or just like it seems so antiquated now, like in terms of like the stuff that they do, and I just find that it's so interesting to watch it and go like nobody does it anymore. Like he still uses
I like that.
He still uses a payphone
so
occasionally. It's like there's certain things that are happening that don't happen anymore, because a lot of times with shows, the main transition is, really just I'm just going to call somebody on my cell phone, and that's how we're going to transition the scene, or something's going to happen that's going to make me go here, make me go there. And they didn't have that necessarily back then. I mean, it's going to change because again, it covers 15 years, but
there's a special flavor to early 2000s television. I wanted to talk about this like at some point today too. Like my point was going to be, or my like example was going to be the special effects, because I love that early 2000s like special effects. It was like before we got good, it was after it was like terrible. So it was like in this in-between stage. And like, I love when the demons leave people's bodies in this show.
Mm.
When they just like, just like it's great. I like that. Like, and they become a cloud, and then they floop out the window or whichever. And there's a special flavor to like early 2000s television. There's also but it's not just the example I was going to use. You brought it up too. It's also like pacing and like letting it be in the time period that it was. Does that, like not trying to future proof the show, just let it happen in the year that it happened,
Yeah, which definitely does date it, because they will make references at certain times. You're like, wait a minute, did that? Oh yeah, that happened, at that time and stuff like that. So it definitely like gets itself. This is the time frame, and you can't really jump forward or I think jump backwards in the show. It's very in the moment. Yeah, it's very time capsule.
Keeps it there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it builds a good foundation for something to last a long time when you just allow it to be dated. If it dates itself, it dates itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 100%. I gotta ask though, Joey, on the back of like, you've encountered John, but you don't know. There's a lot you don't know. But like, what do you kind of like John feels? Because he's a hot topic around here as well. So where are you at with John?
Right off the bat. Oh man. Okay, so I'm not okay. Well, I like the actor. Okay, so right off the bat, he does really good, and I've seen him in other stuff, and I've liked him as well. But I think as a character, Daddy's not. He's up to something. But again, I've only watched season 1 and I'm fresh. But he's still, even at the end, like now he's been there for them kind of like 2 major times. One of them was pretty pivotal, but the whole time he was kind of like a pain in the ass about it. I don't know. I still think even we have to see. They just got hit by a truck. I feel like that's going to either bring them together or I think maybe Dad's going to disappear. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But that's the vibe I get from him, because he has already done so many times. And I think it could just be helpful if we all just sat down and talked instead of this.
Joey, you're my person. Yes, if everyone just fucking had a busted conversation, this would not be what we're doing. Yeah. Every time the last episode gets mentioned, all I can see is the fucking blooper of Jared shrieking. And fucking up the take. That's all I can see. It's really ruining the atmosphere that we're trying to go for. It's like, yes, it's really pivotal. This is the last moment Joey's seen. He doesn't know what's coming, and in my brain, all I can see is baby Jared shrinking his head off. God damn.
What, Joey? Because we were talking about like the dad stuff too. What did you think about the episode where there was a flashback, Something Wicked, where they kind of showed young Sam, young Dean? It was the witch episode where the kids were getting, they don't do it a lot, but when they do it, I kind of feel like it adds another layer. And if it's okay if you don't remember, but Something
I don't want to get my flashback mixed up. I don't want to get them mixed up. But is that the one where, okay. Well, so every flashback, because I can't comment on that, and then you'll have to clarify for the specific one. Mm-hmm. But when they do the flashbacks of them as kids, the impact that John has on their childhood also kind of pretty much just mirrors the adult relationship that they have with him. So I think that's one of the reasons. Don't get me wrong. I think he had to be that as a character, because otherwise the boys wouldn't be as together as they are,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, trauma brings people together. And I think Dad provided that. And whether that's like I guess it's a good storytelling thing. Is it a good dad thing? That's the question.
That's the question.
But as far as the specific flashback, please clarify
it was just, I think for that one too in particular, it was showing John leaving Sam and Dean alone in a motel room. And Dean, I don't know, Kasey, maybe 9, 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sam would have been maybe 6. And I think to me, it shows a lot of the parentification of Dean. And we've had this discussion too at one of I think it was Salvation. It might be when they meet up with John again. There's this triangulation that happens between John, Sam, and Dean. And Sam and John, I think, are they're arguing, right? Like in the Salvation episode. Right off, they pull off the side of the road. They're having it.
Oh, Dom Sam.
And Dean is in the middle, right? And Dean is sort of like pacifying, trying to get them to get along and that kind of thing. So it's just an interesting, like you were talking about, the way they kind of fill in the gaps of the relationship. You get more of that, depending on the episode and stuff like that. So I think then they pepper it in, and it kind of builds and gives you more insight into their relationship. But you get a pretty good idea, I think, about season 1. But there's still things that become, I think, surprises even in season 15, that you don't know about, things that, that one character has never told another and stuff like that. So there's things that just build them. So I think that's
I
why.
love when a show can do that far in the future. So you're telling me that they're going to, wow. Like I said, I like character development. So I'm very excited. Yeah. Especially for the dad thing, because I feel like that's really not resolved at the end of season 1, obviously. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess, Kasey, do you have any more questions? I was going to ask like predictions, because then we also have some comments from some people in our Discord that were like, if they could go back and tell somebody you're watching it for the first time, expectations, comments, and stuff like that. But I was wondering what your predictions might be, because actually one of our Discord members, Stacy Princess Misery 666, she was like, I want to know their predictions. What do they think is going to happen next? So what do you think is going to happen next now that we've left all 3 of them in the car?
Shrieking in the car.
Dead. We don't have to be dead. Without
nobody's actually shrieking. Nobody's really shrieking.
Well, so it definitely happened all of a sudden. And it happens after like a pretty pivotal event that they did not get to talk about, discuss, or debrief about. It seemed like they were like, let's go to the hospital right now. And
and John was like, oh, you should have done this, Sammy. Why did you kill me, Sammy?
Exactly. And can we just take 5?
Just save me.
Can we just take 5? Sandra and Ted, are you biting your tongues as hard as I am going, don't fucking say a goddamn word?
Yeah, we're not.
Yep,
we're
don't
trying
say
really
anything.
hard.
Don't. Yeah. Do good for me, please. So I would say, okay, so directly related to the car accident. Obviously, we had a demon in that truck. Obviously, that's what because this body hopping, body taking thing is just really, really convenient. It really is. It's unfair, I think. But what are you going to do? And I think that they're going to hopefully. I know the boys are going to be okay. I think maybe I think Dad's going to be either in a coma or gone, because I think storytelling wise, I just think that makes sense for his character from what I know so far. I think Dad's going to be either in a coma or gone or some way that they still can't get information from him. Okay. Even though they want it, or they need a lot of information. And they still got a debrief about the end of the last season with me there to watch. So I think there's going to be, so I think Dad's going to be unreachable for one reason or another. Okay. I think the boys are going to get to debrief about what happened, but they're still going to have questions. And I think that the whole first part of the season, or at least the episode, is going to be probably them trying to get the answers they need from Pops.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good prediction.
We're all good. We're all going to keep this real fucking neutral.
We're just nodding. We're not going to give anything.
Those are actually really, really good predictions, though. Real good predictions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I tried to really because when I watch these things, I try to absorb. I like to wait for something to be fully out to watch it. So I'm used to kind of doing this. Let's see, other overarching story things. Well, obviously demon got out of Daddy. We he's out there. Yes. We got to go handle that. That's definitely going to happen this next season. I don't know. Again, I don't know if he's if this guy is going to be a long-term antagonist, but he killed Mom. So I feel like he's going to be here for a while. Okay. At least 2 seasons. Okay. And let's see. I actually did have a question about the last episode. What are your guys' thoughts on whether he should have shot his dad to death to stop that demon?
I can't answer that.
Can't answer that
without spoiling. That's what makes it a high level question.
Remember,
fresh.
All 3 of us here sitting there going,
I think just based off of, I think seeing that, what I really liked about that scene when Dean realized it was a demon in his dad, and there was this moment where they're trying to get Sam to come to each other's sides. Dean didn't really have to do anything. He just had to say a couple things, and then Sam was with Dean. So I feel like Dean saying, "Don't do it, Sammy," kind of, tipped it over, but you could see the struggle. And all I could think about was if he does do it, he's got to live with that guilt forever. Even if it's for the greater good, it's that whole greater good question, I feel like. And they are so traumatized by everything going on right now. You know what I mean? Like what they're trying to deal with.
Yeah.
He lost his fiance, to the same thing. So there's this real struggle there. But I don't know, man. I just don't think he would have been able to, as much as he said.
It's a big scene.
Yeah.
Because the two main themes we've already even mentioned, the two main themes I picked up on was like family and fighting for the greater good. And in that scene, it kind of brings the whole two themes of the season to this head of like, well, now you got to pick right now. Like, it's very poetic, if you will. But I was just really curious to hear your thoughts because with someone who I don't know anything else, I feel like it really is a 50-50 because I know Sam probably couldn't have done it. I don't even think Dean could have probably done it if it was in Dean's hands and it was swapped. I don't think.
Yeah.
So I was
just curious.
I'm kind of because I have children, so I can be Dean and I can be John in this situation, and I would 100% be John and be like, no, it's fine. You take out the bad guy, you take out me. It's totally fine. But I can also be Dean and say no. I wouldn't have pulled that trigger. Like you can't. There are a lot of lines that you can't uncross, but that's a fucking big one. So
What do you think, Ted? What do you think?
I am thinking, well, as far as whether or not Sam could have pulled the trigger, I'm thinking that even if Dean had said, do it, Sam, you got to do it,
he wouldn't
Sam would have at the last second realized that's my daddy. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a that whole scene of Dean realizing that it's not John because he was too nice.
Yeah, that hurts. Yeah, that hurts a lot.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
what a cool way to do that, though.
He would have tore me. What did he say? He would have tore me a new one. He would have tore into me. Yeah, so
he would have tore into
me. Yeah,
he would have been mad. Yeah, that's. Oh, I have a lot of feelings about John.
Yeah,
a lot of feelings about John,
which we'll get to discuss as we
I can't wait. I'm very excited for that.
So I've got a couple comments from some people in our Discord, just about, like I said, comments, words of wisdom about the show. Dara Lee wanted to tell you none of the plot points because it's really better to go in blind. Have patience with the early installment weirdness. The pacing and tone took a while to hit a stride. Considering they were working with broadcast TV tech and money, the VFX are convincing. And so kind of along the lines, I think you go into where they were using a lot of physical and computer and kind of trying to do the best with what they did. And they relied a lot on just like physical effects too, which is always interesting. I love going back and seeing how people did a lot of like animatronics, different things like that. And so they definitely used what they could, for being a CW show on network TV.
And the era and the tech that was available. Like, it's dated to us now in 2024, but it's pretty good for the time.
Yeah.
Jackie, and again, I like that flavor of special effects from that time period. It's just going to always be the special in between place with kind of slightly goofy graphics.
The Wendigo.
Oh, yeah. I like when they burned it. That was. I watched that twice because I wanted to see what they were doing to burn it.
Okay.
Like what combo of VFX and in general quite early 2000s monster. That's like the best way to describe it. Doctor Who has some of those.
Yeah, I was thinking too, because like I said, I've seen a couple episodes. So I was like, I feel like this would be kind of right up your alley too, like what they would do, like effects and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. When a show does what they got, or does the best with what they got. So Jackie 4, and this one probably doesn't apply, but the caution I would give that I have given to new viewers is if it looks like they're going to do something gory, they will, and it will probably be more gruesome than expected. So if that's something that bothers them, probably not. If they like the boys, then warn them. So you are totally fine, I think, with this.
Yes. You're coming to SPN after the boys. You're kind of like, where's the rest of it? What? What do you mean we cut? What do you mean we changed cut? Where's the fucking rest of it, lads? What? Yeah.
And then the other one is from Fictional Lemons and says, I guess let them know the music is different on the streaming version than the DVDs, depending on how they are watching. Ted and I were watching the very last scene of Devil's Trap, and we were watching it on Blu-ray. The music, totally different. They had Bad Moon Rising in the original. And then I said, we've got to watch the Netflix version and see what Joey's dealing with. And it was not. And I don't know if, because I know Joey, and we could talk about this a little bit too. You are very much you are a music guy. So
yes,
I would assume that for you, the music that they pair with certain scenes would kind of change the vibe of the scene for you. And
if someone's in the car mentioning Metallica being on the radio, Metallica's not on the radio, then if it does feel weird, it breaks.
It's never Metallica on the radio, mate. It's never Metallica on the radio.
What I was saying to Ted, I think I might do is on a couple of episodes, I might just like record off of my TV, like some scenes that I know have music in them that I think really do make a difference, and just like send to you.
Would love that.
There's a scene in Faith, the episode where Dean almost dies from his heart failing.
What do you comfort? Comfort Dean?
Yes, there's Hoodie Comfort Dean. There's a scene in there that relies heavily on music background, and then there's a couple others. Like I said, the scene where they're in the car, even though it's not Metallica, it's still a different sound. You know what I mean? Like it's still a different song. And they have that in a couple different spots, I think.
Well, and you had kind of told me to look out for that when we had watched that first episode together. Because we did watch it on Netflix, and you, I think, had pointed it out for 2 times in the first episode. If I remember. And having that knowledge ahead of time, a lot of those tracks stood out to me as like, kind of like generic track 1, generic rock track number 2, you know, kind of.
I will. I'll tread carefully here, Joey, but just to save yourself, because you've still got 14 seasons of the show to go. There is a band that is mentioned frequently by Dean. You are never going to get, even on the DVDs, you are never going to get music by that band. So just put it out of your head. Don't be like, maybe like I'll like. Do you want to know what band it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's Led Zeppelin. Okay. Like,
and they
Dean
never put it in?
Dean references it quite a lot, references like his favorite Led Zepp songs. It's referenced more than most music is. And there is not a single Led Zepp song in the entirety of the season, of the whole show, not even on the DVDs. So when that starts to come up, don't be like, oh my God, maybe we're going to get insert Led Zeppelin song that I can't remember because I don't like Led Zepp. Ramble on, maybe the next driving montage is gonna. It's never. It does not happen.
They would have never been able to afford it. Yeah, they was too.
Led Zepp was too expensive for Supernatural. So don't like. I just need you to know. Don't be like, oh my God, that's going to be so cool, and then you'll be sad about it because.
I think that's an acceptable spoiler, and I appreciate the heads up actually. So
because that would bug me if I was waiting for something like that. Yeah, if I was waiting like. Oh, that's gonna, and then it doesn't, and then you'd be like, I feel lied to.
Yeah, no, but
I would have felt lied to. So now my expectations are set, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, there are some. I really feel like it's more like the first few seasons, but then it starts like some of the songs
gets better music,
gets better, and later on, and I think they leave it in future or maybe future episodes, but it's definitely Kripke was very much. Like, this is a road trip. This is the kind of music. This is the soundtrack. This is the feel.
Right. See, hang on. Because I've got feelings about this.
Okay.
I understand that this is Kripke's baby, right? Mm-hmm. I understand it is, right? And that's fine. But he should not have had executive power over the soundtrack, because if by your own admission you don't listen to anything recorded after 1980, you shouldn't be making a fucking TV show. Fuck off. You are going to tell me that Dean, if it wears a skirt and flirts with me, I'll fuck it, would not have got so hard into the fucking hair metal cock rock of the 80s.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
Oh, I no, but I think so. I mean, I feel like
But we'll never fucking know because
Yeah.
Kripke isn't into the hair metal and cock
Yeah.
rock of the 80s.
No, that's true.
So it's just fucking early Metallica, and
That's
fucking
true.
Led Zepp.
that's true.
Piss
That's true.
off.
That's true. That's true.
I'm sorry, I'm still really mad about that because I don't like Led
Okay, well,
Zeppelin.
in Kripke's defense,
No, you're
on
allowed
this,
to be.
Do you think that Dean learned his music from his dad?
That's the
Get
whole-
out of here with your Earth
That's
Logic
the
10.
whole thing.
That's exactly what it is, but I will die mad about it. I learned my parents were born in the 60s and my dad was a rocker. So I learned my music taste on the likes of Bon Jovi, fucking Meatloaf, that kind of like rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I fucking progressed. I found the hair metal and cock rock of the 80s all by myself because my dad likes Boston and Boston is a fine band, but it doesn't do shit for me. And he's like, oh my God, Boston is so cool. I really want to go and see Boston. Boston is a fucking tits. Oh my God, I paid so much money to go see Boston this one time. Like, all right, they released 2 albums. Fuck off, mate. Calm down. Like my dad is one of the biggest Queen fans on the planet. And I have a healthy appreciation for Queen as a
Mhm.
millennial,
Mhm.
but
Yeah. I get
Yeah.
it. I get it.
it's totally fine for Dean to have got his music taste from John, but fucking expand a little bit, mate.
Well, I guess
Move
we'll get to
forward.
see. We'll get to see if there's a little bit of an expansion. We don't want to spoil. we don't
Oh
wanna
yeah,
spoil too
true.
much.
I could see. Yeah, I could see the opportunity for him to expand musically, at least as much as the show will allow him to.
Okay, well, as long as you're not sitting there going, Ramble On's going to come on any fucking minute. Stairway to
No,
Heaven.
that
It's
expectation
going to happen.
is set. Oh, if
Yeah.
only. I feel like it would work really good, especially if they set it up so hard. But
Mhm,
I will
mhm.
keep my expectations set for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Are
I
you-
have. I was just gonna say, I think with the Netflix versions, I don't know if they have taken these out a lot, but I think usually at the start of every season they had like a road so far, and it was almost like a little music video that they would put in the beginning, and there would usually be a different song. So I don't know if Netflix still has that anymore, if they've taken that out.
So I own all the Supernatural DVDs, but I haven't watched, like most of my watches have been on streaming.
Mhm.
But I remember real early when I sort of started to find it, because it was on Netflix and then it was on Amazon and then it was not on Amazon and then so Amazon has that like X-ray thing, and I
Mhm.
remember that it used to tell you what music was in the scenes, and then
Oh.
at some point it stopped,
Okay.
and I think that's probably when they changed the streaming music.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
Man,
I
they
can't
love to do that.
I can't remember if the Road So Far music. I would have to get one of the DVDs out and take a
Mhm.
look. And see, I never got like, because all like most of my watching when I watched the DVDs, it was like 2017,
Mhm.
and then I jumped back into the show in 19 on streaming. So I was never married to the soundtrack from the DVDs,
Right.
and I don't get what everyone's fucking obsession is with it. Frankly,
No. I just kind of like the fact that at the beginning of each, like to do the recap, they would do it to music, and it
Do
would
a
kind of
music
like a little-
video.
yeah, like a little music video.
Do you
had
remember
the-
And
what
that's
song
just
it
at the
was?
beginning of the
No,
season.
they
Is that just the
changed
beginning of the
it.
season?
They
Ah.
would change it every season. So every season it was a different song,
Yeah.
but a lot of AC/DC, I feel like they used a lot of AC/DC, different songs, like maybe back
Back in Black.
That would fit. That would fit.
Thunderstruck, that was a really good one. I feel like when they did that
Ooh.
one, that was a good one. So yeah, I'll look
Mhm.
into it too. And if it's something,
What was
That-
the song that Dean was playing his leg like it was a guitar?
oh, that's
Eye
really-
of the Tiger.
yeah, Eye of the
Okay.
Tiger. Eye
Oh,
of the Tiger.
classic.
That's further. That's further. There's so many fun things for you to
That's
find out about.
like
I'm so stoked. Yeah.
once you set your expectations about Led Zepp, there is so much musical fun to be had later on. But it
Mhm.
would be remiss of me as a music fan talking to another music fan to not say, "Hey, BT Dubs." No.
Mhm.
Yeah, don't expect it. No. I
Yeah.
think without that expectation, it leaves me a lot of room to appreciate the music that is there. And I think even a list, if you wanted to, instead of
Yeah,
recording a TV, if you wanted
That's
to
what
give me
I
a
was
list, like, hey,
thinking.
these are the tracks. Yeah, I'll
And
do it.
I'm
I
sure
think MJ
somebody's got
shared
that
one.
someone. Yeah. I'll
MJ
check it.
said in Discord she had a playlist of it.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll check.
I'm
wow.
pretty sure.
I'll check.
That's awesome.
Write that down.
It's a very expansive fandom. We have a GIF for everything. We have soundtracks for everything. We got what you need, man. We got
Yeah.
it.
You do it properly. No, absolutely. No, and I do. I will say, I guess I haven't actually, and I guess this is relevant, I've actually listened to any fan podcasts for Doctor Who before. So this is even like putting me in a closer place with Supernatural. So that's good.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
I think we've been at this chat for about 2 hours. So
Oh my goodness.
I think what we'll do is I wanted to ask, and I didn't run this by Kasey, but there are certain episodes coming up in season 2 that I was thinking, as soon as you watch them, I would like to get your reaction right after you watch it.
I could do an episode by episode reaction for you. I think even because I do have a Discord, I feel like we could do just a direct message, right? Or like a 3-person message, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep,
maybe we do that, and then I'll be spoiler free.
Yes.
And everybody can enjoy
I like that idea.
Trying to experience the show again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we love our Discord peeps. We really do.
But they will. They will.
They would not be able to. It would not. It genuinely wouldn't even be intentional. You just like one of my best friends hasn't finished the show, and I get so far into sentences, and then I go
and you're like, oh wait,
yeah,
moving on. Then I just forget I said that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, if we go at this rate, Joey would be done in.
You'll be back in like a couple of weeks, and we're like, season 2.
Kasey, I don't know if you off the bat, like if there's a season. I mean, there's a lot of season 2 episodes that are really. I'm so keen on hearing your reactions to. It is the very first one.
The very first one. I'll be honest with you, Joey. I kind of want you to get in Zoom the second you finish that one, because I kind of need to be like, what happened? Fucking hell, tell me what you think. I've been sitting on my hands the whole time. Like,
because there's a lot, but then
there's a particular parallel between a season 1 episode and a season 2 episode that I want to discuss, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with the overarching plot or anything. It just parallels a certain thing, and Sandra knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I just want to know. I just want to know your opinion.
Man, at the end of season 2, I'm so stoked for this.
Each end of season, I think would be that makes the most sense. You know, in terms of everybody's time and your time, and you know, you want to get it cleared by President Precious, you know, too, just to make sure that, you know, you can actually come back on and get everything.
Yes, as her ambassador to the world, I will have to check.
Yes,
you'll have to double check with her. Yeah, it sounds like Sandra's fixing to wrap up this episode before we go and talk about other things.
Wrap up, but yeah, I'm just fixing to wrap up. You and I, Kasey, will have to just do our outro after.
I have a question.
Yes, you do. Go ahead.
I do, and actually, I get to ask it twice. I never get to ask it twice.
Ooh.
Sandra's silence now, like, what?
Go ahead.
Well, it wasn't a fucking question the last time Ted was on. And unlike you, I haven't forgotten he's here. No.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not scary. It's not a scary question.
It's not scary at all. It's not even supernatural based. It's not even relevant to supernatural.
Okay.
But you know what? I'll let Ted go first. Sorry, Joey. I'll let Ted go first. Ted, what is your favorite dinosaur? I love that silence every time.
Favorite dinosaur.
Okay, so adults don't ask other adults what their favorite dinosaur is anymore. And I'm on a 1-person campaign to change that because that's a fucking cool question. And I want to know what people's favorite dinosaurs are. So what is your favorite dinosaur? Pterodactyl. Very cool. Very cool. It's not technically a dinosaur, but because it's you, I'll let you have it.
It's not a dinosaur?
It's not? I didn't know that.
No.
Oh, that's what Joey was going to say.
Is that what you were going to say as well?
Oh, no, that's not what I was going to say. My favorite's a Triceratops. I even have a tattoo of Triceratops. Yeah.
Oh my God,
They're
really?
awesome.
That is so fucking cool.
How about you?
That's so cool.
It's a zombie Triceratops. It's kind of like decaying, and I drew it myself. And then the chick who did it did really good justice to the colors.
Oh, that's fucking sweet. That's
Very
awesome.
Nice. Very
That's
nice.
awesome. No, I'm sorry, Ted. While it is a reptile, it's not technically a dinosaur.
Gotcha.
But I will let you off.
Aw, that's good.
So it's a lizard bird? What is it if it's not a dinosaur? I don't know enough.
I wasn't expecting follow-up questions, people. Hang on one second.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I know I spelled it wrong, Google, but fucking help a bro out here. Good Christ. It is. It is a flying reptile, but it's just not a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's a flying rep. Yeah, I see that too. Holy crap. There it is.
It was
So
around.
leave it up to me to
That's okay.
You are
go
not
off.
even
You are not-
close to
no.
the first person that has given me not a dinosaur,
No, I
dude.
think
Don't even
we've
worry
had
about it.
I think we've had a
We've
pterodactyl.
had a pterodactyl before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had
Yep.
not dinosaurs, like other not dinosaurs as answers. Yeah.
Yep.
So good. You guys, you
Yep.
did well. Did well for the question.
Yes.
Well for the question.
Yep.
Um,
I would have also accepted a magical Leopleurodon.
yeah, that was
as
the
well.
other one.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know either. Ted.
Magical
I didn't know what it was.
Leopleurodons.
Ted's looking at me like, what?
There is a very I'm gonna nerd out here. Okay, there is a very specific the difference. The thing that makes dinosaurs is the formation of their pelvis and their hips. In that their legs are like lizards and reptiles that came before them. Their legs kind of went out, almost similar to a crocodile, and that is how they walked. Even though they weren't as low to the ground as a crocodile, that is how they walked. The thing that makes dinosaurs is that their legs are underneath them and go straight from their pelvis. Even if they walk on 2 legs or 4 legs, that is the distinction that makes a dinosaur. And unfortunately, they didn't have wings, so pterosaurs don't count. But it's fine. Neither do Leopleurodons, and it's fine. But now you know. Now you know.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Qualify.
Barney? I mean, it can for you if that's your
I think
favorite.
Barney the
dinosaur.
dinosaur qualifies, yeah.
Definitely not my favorite.
Okay, good. We'd have to rethink our whole relationship.
Sandra's like, no, that is the divorce point. You cannot have Barney the fucking dinosaur.
So plan is we're going to have Joey back. We're going to try to see if we can do this, after every season, and we're going to find a way to get responses and stuff like that. But I'm really excited that you're going to come back and talk to us about your supernatural journey with us. So I just want to say thank you. I want to thank my husband. He's been very, very well behaved and has not spilled any of the beans on anything, probably because he doesn't even know what season we would be.
At this point, I do think I might taste some blood in my mouth because I've been biting my tongue so much, trying not to talk.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I had to
You
mute
did
myself
good,
at one
thank
point.
you.
Yeah.
I did have to
Thank
mute
you.
myself.
Yeah.
For
Especially
me and my baby brain. Thank
because knowing now that even though you've been around it, you still don't know a lot of things. That's just we really have to be good, which will be.
Yeah.
I got to warn you, when we get to the final season watch, I got nothing to hide, so it's all out.
It's all there.
Oh,
won't
I'm
be able to
so
shut me
stoked
up.
to get there. That'll be great. I'm working
So,
towards it. That's so great.
I do have one more question, just because I'm thinking you've been in a fandom that's seen a lot of changes and everything over the years with Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah.
What do you expect might happen on Supernatural? Do you feel like it's going to, because we were talking about how it will kind of change as it, grows in terms of just the time that it's in and different things like that. But do you expect
So it does,
to...
it spans 2 generations. If I had to guess, right? So
Mhm.
based on the length of it and what I know about fandoms that can go that long,
Mhm.
I know that there's probably going to be a dipping point. I expect it. I expect a low point where I'm not going to call it boring or I don't know what to call it because I'm not there, but there will be a low point of some kind in that 15. But I'd like to believe that by the time we get to 15, by the time I get there, it'll pick back up probably.
Okay.
Well before that, hopefully.
Okay. And did you
Which is
feel
kind
that...
of expected, though.
Yeah. I mean, being that you've been in Doctor Who and really seen it grow and change, and I know we were talking about the newest iteration and things like that. Did you experience a few dips along the way?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
They had several dips. I feel like the dips might be slightly different for different people, but I think there's a mass majority that feel there's certain dips. I won't even mention them here. It's not that time and place, but I do think that everybody agrees where that show is now, unfortunately. So that's another reason I'm excited to be getting into Supernatural so fresh, because I've got this void in my heart for Doctor Who being gone, kind of.
Okay. Good.
Aww.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
But I like
Well,
sci-fi, I like Supernatural. This is going to be great. I'm very excited. Season 2, man. I'm going to start tomorrow likely, and then you guys will
Good.
get an update. So
Good. Absolutely.
I
That's
I cannot wait for you to get to the end of episode 1. I'm just be like, fucking hell, what did Joey think? Jesus.
yeah, I know, because I have all these expectations, so I'm excited. I'll write a little thing for you. I had for sure.
Joey, what's
Thank you.
what's your Discord? Can you tell me what?
I would have
know
to
what it
read
is?
it. I'm so bad at that, but yeah, it's right here.
Send
for
it.
me. It's
Send
just
it to me,
community.
and then now that I know how to add friends on the Discord,
Perfect.
When you send it to me, then
Oh, baby.
and then hey, I'm learning. At least I'm willing
You
to learn.
are.
I'm willing to learn. There's a lot. There's a lot to learn. A lot to
I'm
learn.
gonna send you right now. So there you go.
Okay.
I'm so proud of you. You're doing all the
Yeah,
things.
I'm doing all the
All the
things.
technology. You don't
Now,
organize
you've helped me
shit,
with
but
it
you're
too,
trying.
yeah.
I don't organize shit. No, but I try. I try my organization. Oh, cool. Okay, good. All right.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask now. I'm gonna put you on the spot, Sandra. Ted, is she like that in real life? Does she have just like a stack of like letters and shit? And you're like, Sandra, where's the thing? And she's like, it's over there. And you're like, fucking where, babes? Where?
Yes, she is very organized, well planned out.
No.
I am the
No.
exact opposite, and I end up going to her. She hates this. I refer to her as my personal PDA.
No, right, no. That's I love that for you, Ted. That's not what I mean. Right. Let's say you've got 3 folders and the power bill shit goes in this folder and the water bill goes in this folder and the fucking mortgage goes in this folder, right?
Okay.
And you want something that's to do with the power bill, let's say. And she goes, oh, it's over in folder C. And you go, what the fuck is it doing with the mortgage stuff? And she's like, I don't know, just put it there. That's what I mean.
No.
Why are you like this to me, Sandra? What the fuck?
Because it's a podcast that we're having fun with, and so my brain works differently than yours. So my organization does not work the same as your organization does. We've had
You don't
this.
have organization, babes.
I do, but it's not your organization, and I choose where I put my organization skills. And unfortunately, when it comes to the podcast, I'm like, no.
Yeah, I don't make the cut.
Yeah.
Figure it out, motherfucker.
When it
It's
comes
in
to
the
the podcast,
podcast folder.
it's-
Figure it out.
Hey, I've gotten better. I've let you just make the folders and I'll put them in there. Right? That's what I do.
Yeah, after the 100th time of going, Sandra,
Yeah.
where is this image or
Yeah.
this audio? And she goes, oh, it's the merch folder. And I'm like, what the fuck is it there for? There. I need this for YouTube, babes. I'm not making a t-shirt. What the? No, it's an image. I just put it in with the.
Yeah. Yeah, no. That I think I've kind of like my organization is only for certain things. And it only goes so far. It only goes so
It's
far. I'm
selective.
sorry, Kasey.
Selective
Collective
organization.
organization.
That's why
It's
you're my
okay.
co-host. That's why you're my co-host. You're helping. You're helping to
Aw.
keep the ship going, because otherwise we would not be doing this. It would be a mess. It would be
I had a big old tantrum and I was like, I'm redoing the fucking folders in the
Mhm.
podcast.
Mhm.
Just put your shit in there and I will move it where it needs to be.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was fine with it. Yeah. So we're good. We're good with it.
It's all good. I just wanted to know if you were like that in real life or if you organize properly in real life. That's all.
Okay, we'll have a discussion
You're
about
so
this
funny.
later.
I'm in so much trouble. I'm in so much trouble. How very dare you in front of my husband and my nephew-in-law? How dare? No, Sandra.
That's okay. That's okay.
Hey, look, we couldn't mention the season and I couldn't throw you into that bus. I had to find some bus to throw you
I
into.
know. It's fine. It's fine. Well, honey, I'm going to let you go. Your brother,
Okay.
you have a brother, because you guys are sort of like brothers sometimes. Your uncle will
Absolutely.
call you on
I'll
the
give you a
phone.
call in about 5 minutes.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I'll meet you then.
Okay.
It was
Thank you,
nice to
honey.
meet you, Casey.
Nice to meet you too, Joey. Lovely
You're
to
an
meet you
awesome
too, Cannell.
personality.
Oh, thank you.
They're awesome.
Thank you so much. I
Awesome.
cannot wait. I cannot wait to have you back on to discuss season 2 and get your thoughts in Discord and all that good stuff.
I'm stoked on it. Yeah, I'll send you guys the messages. It'll be great. But you guys have a great time.
Amazing.
Get work done for the podcast. And
Alright.
yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Speak to you guys
thank
later.
you.
Bye,
All
Ted.
Bye, Casey. Pleasure talking with you.
As always. Speak to you soon, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Aw, okay.
They're
Right.
so fucking cute. They're gonna go call each other.
They're
That's
gonna
the
go call
fucking
each other.
cutest.
All right, I'm gonna.
Oh my
I'm
god.
unhooking. Well, no, I'm trying to get them to because
Connect. Yes. It's fucking cute, man.
Yeah, because they just go. I love you. Go.
Just fuck off now, Ted. She's done with you. Just fucking leave.
He's like showing
Bye,
me a
Ted.
poster. I'm like, what? Oh, just go. What? Stop asking me questions.
Bye, Ted.
He's
He's a
so,
sweetie.
he's so much like Ted that it's just
He is.
It's just very cute. It's very
He's
cute.
so fucking cute.
Yeah.
For real. He's like Ted. Like
He's
like
like
mini Ted.
He's like Ted
Mini Ted.
2.0 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like millennial Ted. That's what we're gonna name them. Ted and millennial Ted.
Yeah. And I'm so glad he likes the show. Like, I was
Yeah.
really kind of worried that he was going to be like, I don't really think it's my thing.
Yeah, shit, that would have been awkward, wouldn't it?
I feel like, and I mean, we're gonna have this in the. See, I don't know. I maybe we shouldn't, just in case he does listen to it. So I don't think we're going to do anything spoilery.
No, let's not, because I would assume when this comes out, he's going to go and listen to it. So we're not going to talk about anything.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see reactions to different episodes.
But when we've wrapped up, you're going to fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joey.
But yeah, so I guess because we've been on a while, and I'm going to have to figure out. This is going to be a long one, but it was a good one. But yeah, I think we should wrap up so Kasey and I can discuss a lot of other things that we need to discuss. Do you have any like closing thoughts aside from that's going to be fun to just?
Just that I can't speak now. It's going to be fun, and it's so lovely to see through the eyes of someone who's just coming into this, and the excitement and the anticipation, and oh my god, I think this is going to happen, and I think this is going to happen, and I think. Maybe me and you are a little bit more jaded about it, and we're like, we know what's going to happen. But that kind of enthusiasm is so infectious.
Yeah,
and I really love that, and I'm so hyped to like get these reactions from the episode, get him back for season 2 and 3, and just like go on. It's almost like going on the journey again.
Yeah,
through the eyes of someone else, and I'm so fucking excited for that.
Yeah. And I've really I really do like those reaction episodes, like different people who like somebody who's watched Supernatural and somebody who hasn't. And I know, we've never really been able to, because we're doing an actual like podcast that incorporates a lot of different aspects of the fandom, Supernatural fan fiction, that we can't really do that. So this feels like a nice compromise, to that. And I am so grateful that Joey's like, yeah, let's do this. Cause I think it'll be fun. It'll be a fun addition to like what we're already doing on the podcast. Is every once in a while, let's get the reactions from a first time watcher and somebody who also, let's be honest, is not going to be, drooling. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing he's not going to be drooling over Sam and Dean, all the time. But you never know.
No, you don't know. You don't know.
But there's that aspect too, that it's definitely a different perspective coming in, that I think is fun. So yeah.
No, it's great. It's it's kind of like getting Ted's perspective from the like the guy who's just looking at it from a guy's perspective, but then also like, we love you, Ted. We love you. Come back more. I want to chat to you more. I don't even feel like I got to chat to Ted today because he was like, I'm going to be quiet, so I don't think it's going to be ruining anything. Bless him.
You'll get to talk to him soon. Don't worry. We're going to have that whole breakdown about the cons, so it'll be fine.
I was 3 trains each way. He's going to have a shit fit when I tell him how shitty the public transport is over here.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of trains. It's a lot of trains.
But yes, I think for our first episode back after not recording for a while, we didn't do too bad. So.
I managed to contain the feral goblin, I feel like. With only a few breakthroughs of fucking what, mate? I felt so bad at the start because I like, literally just jumped in and started ribbing on him, and then I was like, he's gonna think you're such an asshole. Stop it!
Oh,
but
no.
You need to, like, these things need to be said. Benedict Cumberbatch is Smaug, and you can rag on Count Dooku, but you can't rag on Christopher Lee, motherfucker. No.
Oh goodness. Oh boy.
All
right.
But yeah, we should wrap this up, Sandra. Let's
so if you want to reach out to us, you can email us at idlingintheimpala@gmail.com. Tell us what you think about having this wonderful new person come on and talk to us about Supernatural for the first time. You can comment on Spotify and use the Q&A section to share your thoughts. All our contact details are on our website, idlingintheimpala.com. Go check it out.
Yes, go check out all of those things and give Joey some love and Ted some love as well. Ted always deserves love.
Yes,
Ted is one of my favorite guests.
Yes. Absolutely.
Sorry to literally everyone else who's come on the show. Sorry. It's Ted's a repeat. I was going to say repeat offender, but that's not the word I wanted. Ted's a repeat guest. Ted's like a friend now.
Yeah.
So yeah. But please don't forget to like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe wherever you access your podcasts. But likes and comments really help us out. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, that really helps us with the algorithm. All hail its benevolence. And if you are listening via the medium of purely audio, that was a really word salad. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple or Google or whatever, can you please leave us a 5-star rating, because we're just the best. And we would really appreciate that. Thanks. It helps us with like rankings and all that good stuff. As always, in the description are the current causes that we are championing. So from me, you have a UK-based and a US-based LGBTQ plus charities that are more focused on talking and connecting people, so reach out to them if you need to talk to someone, if you don't have people around you that you can talk to, and you just need to connect, or if you are in crisis, they are there to help you as well. From Sandra, we have some mental health charities. So they are there, again, similar reasons if you need to talk to somebody, if you need to reach out. Also from Sandra, we have American Civil Liberties Union and vote.gov. I had to go and look that up. It's been a month since we recorded, guys. Yes. I have forgotten all my things. It is election year in the US. It is actually an election year in the UK as well, I have learned.
Okay.
But nobody will commit to an election date because the government doesn't really want a fucking election because they know they're going to lose. So yeah, but while that's still on the fence in the UK, when that gets finalized, we'll start talking about that. But it is definitely an election year in the US. So the best thing you can do is vote and keep self-informed, and both of those links in the description will help you out with all the things you need to know, all the things you need to do to get yourself prepared so you can make your voice heard and to bastardize the Rocky Horror Picture Show and the Tenacious D cover of Time Warp. It's a jump to the left, not a step to the right, people. We can do this. Just vote blue all the way. We'll deal with the aftermath afterwards. Let's just blue first, yeah? And the main charities that we are championing, spotlighting, highlighting, any other adjective that means to draw attention to.
Yeah, because we're still doing it.
It is, at time of recording, the 31st of March 2024. We have been championing this since the 7th of October. So, we've been championing one of these charities for longer than that, but still. We are supporting, highlighting World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders, both of whom are on the ground in the Ukraine, which is still parts of being affected by Russia's unlawful invasion and war, and on the ground in Gaza. So this is not political in any capacity. We're not here to discuss who's right and who's wrong. This is purely humanitarian. Okay, people are in the Ukraine and Gaza. They are stranded. They are stuck. They lack basic necessities. They are dying. All these charities are doing is trying to get aid to them, and all we're trying to do is help these charities help those people. If you can help them, help others, or any of the other charities that we have listed, that would be incredible. It doesn't have to be financial. That is not the only way to support. Just tweeting out the links, making people aware that, hey, this shit's still happening and these people still need help. That is endlessly valuable to just keeping attention on what is happening in those areas of the world. And of course, World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders operate all over the world, but for the purposes of us, we are focusing on the Ukraine and Gaza. So yeah, we practice what we preach here. We have made donations to World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders here from Idling in the Impala. So any help that you can give, whether that is financial or just simply sharing the links on social media and raising awareness that way, is endlessly helpful to those charities. And with that, we will say thank you for joining us in the back seat. Thank you to Ted and Joey for coming on and chatting with us today. We can't wait to have them both back on. And we will see you in the next episode, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.